After a week of replacing some coaches that the Detroit Lions have lost, they have now taken a hit when it comes to the front office. Now, we are not new to this game. We lost somebody on the front office before. We know that actually Chris Spielman interviewed for a general manager position this offseason. Now, he didn't get it, so he's going to be with us a little while longer, and that is a good thing because hopefully we will be a Super Bowl caliber team by the time if he does indeed get a job elsewhere. But the Detroit Lions did lose someone of significant value today. This happened many, many moons ago, early in the morning. From Adam Schefter, Notre Dame is finalizing a deal to hire Detroit Lions Director of Scouting Advancement, Mike Martin, as the school's new general manager, per source. Martin was part of Detroit's initial front office staff that helped rebuild the Lions roster. Now Notre Dame head coach Marcus Freeman is pulling Martin away from Detroit to bring an NFL model to South Bend, Indiana. This is kind of a big deal because Martin has been part of the Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell regime from the very beginning, and he has been involved in all 4 drafts. So this is coming from Pride of Detroit as well. Had a little more on Martin himself. Says Martin was hired right at the beginning of Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes era. Prior to his time with the Lions, he spent 19 years in NFL front offices, 11 with the Houston Texans, 4 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 1 with the Tennessee Titans, and 3 with the Carolina Panthers. According to the Lions website, Martin's role with the team was to work with the college and pro personnel staff to enhance the scouting and roster building process. Martin has held that role with the Lions for all 4 years with the team. During his time with the Lions, Detroit has become synonymous with expert drafting. In just 4 drafts, the Lions have selected 6 Pro Bowlers and 3 All-Pro players. So like I said, this is kind of a big deal because the Detroit Lions are taking another hit. Now, this was a guy that was weak. I kept talking about his name a lot. The website, Marcus Freeman, he was a person that was connected to maybe taking one of these open NFL jobs. It never happened. I think he wound up going to the national championship game to face Ohio State. Of course, Ohio State won that game, but he decides to bring somebody from the Detroit Lions front office to the Notre Dame to make him the general manager. So it's kind of like Brad Holmes 2.0. And it begs the question, how is Brad Holmes going to do this time around? Because I'm trying to see, when did we lose the other guy? We had a guy before that just left, and I think he went to the Washington Commanders or something like that. Yes, okay, here it is. Last year, the Commanders hired the Senior Director of Football Administration, Brandon Sosna, and the Senior Director of Player Personnel, Lance Newmark. Lions Director of College Scouting, Dave Sears, was hired as the Arizona Cardinals Assistant General Manager in 2023. Now, here's something that is intriguing, and I want to bounce this off you. For everything good that we give Brad Holmes, could it be more to it as well? We lost Brandon Sosna, Lance Newmark, and Dave Sears all in 2023, heading to, I don't know if that was at the beginning of 2023 or because we had a stellar draft. We had a stellar draft in 2023, but only the first half. The second half wasn't that great. But I'm mainly focusing on that 2024 draft. All around, it was not a great draft. We had one impact player, and he was barely an impact. To me, he was forced to start. Terrion Arnold and his Rakestraw, Sione Vaki, Christian Mahogany, Giovanni Manu, all of these guys, man, were not really impact players. They were kind of drafted for the future. Do you feel that maybe Brad Holmes' success has come in some way from these additional key players or people that we've lost? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how he does year 5. I think year 5 is going to be a huge year for Brad Holmes. It's going to be a statement year, in my opinion, because year 5, having regressed, it's not like we made the Super Bowl or even where we were last year. We regressed in distance in the playoffs and season success. I mean, because to me, I base the success off the season on how far you go in the playoffs. If you go 10-7 and you make it to the Super Bowl, nobody cares that you were 10-7. In reverse, if you go 15-2 and you don't even win a playoff game, nobody cares that you were 15-2. So I think this is going to be a critical year, a pivotal year for Brad Holmes to see really where it could start to sway in either direction, because you can't have a bunch of draft picks that you miss on. The Detroit Lions do not pick to 28th. You got to understand. You got to ask yourself, will you trade up to get one of these guys, or will you stand pat and just take whoever's there at 28, or will you take somebody already established in a trade or maybe a free agency situation? So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on the loss of Mike Martin. I think in some way it's going to affect the Detroit Lions. It might not be a major way, because I think when people leave, there is change, and there's, people have to adapt. They have to adapt to that change. So we'll see what happens, but let me know your thoughts. This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.